Some of President Trump's supporters are pushing back against what they see as an unfair justice system, threatening a boycott that could have a major impact on the country's largest city.
Despite all the legal troubles Trump has on his table, there are people who have chosen to follow him to the end. Truckers are one of them. From coast to coast, they have been vocal in their admiration for Trump, standing firmly behind his policies and leadership. It just got in now that they have decided to boycott New York City and side with Trump to the very end. This move, however, doesn't favor New York City, as many fear that the city might shut down as a result of this. Truckers stand with Trump. In a bold display of solidarity, truck drivers across the nation are joining forces to boycott New York City. Their motivation? A deep-seated belief that the justice system has dealt a severe blow to former President Trump, and they refuse to stand idly by. This boycott, if successful, could have far-reaching consequences, not just in New York, but for all of us across the country. Remember that a while ago, a New York State judge ruled a staggering $355 million verdict against the former president in his business fraud trial. These truckers are taking a stand. They are siding with former President Trump and pushing back against what they perceive as an unfair justice system. The impact of this boycott has the potential to be devastating. Supermarkets, big box stores, and countless other businesses that heavily rely on trucking would feel the pinch. Imagine walking into your local grocery store, only to find empty shelves where once an abundance of fresh produce and essential goods stood. Prices would skyrocket as the supply chain is disrupted and the cost of transportation increases. It's a domino effect that would reverberate throughout the entire economy. These truck drivers are not just expressing their frustration, they are putting their livelihoods on the line to make a statement. They understand the potential consequences of their actions, but they firmly believe that this boycott is necessary to shed light on what they perceive as an unfair justice system. Industry experts warned that the truckers' boycott could have a lasting impact on the trucking industry. With fewer trucks delivering goods to and from New York City, the supply chain is disrupted, leading to delays, higher transportation costs, and logistical challenges. This could result in a ripple effect that affects businesses and consumers across the nation. The trucking industry is the backbone of our economy. Any disruption to the flow of goods can have significant consequences. If the boycott continues, we could see a decrease in efficiency, increased costs, and potential job losses within the industry. How did all this talk of boycotting New York City begin? It started with one truck driver named Chicago Ray.
I've been on the radio talking to drivers for about the last hour 15 minutes, and I'm talking to at least 10 drivers going the other way. I'm heading down from South Wisconsin, and they're going to start refusing loads in New York City starting on Monday.
Born Raymond Johnson, Chicago Ray became a prominent figure in the trucking community, capturing the attention of over 230,000 followers on X, formerly Twitter. But how did this truck driver rise to such fame and influence? Ray had humble beginnings in the heartland of America. Growing up in a small town, he developed a love for the open road at an early age. As soon as he was old enough, he hopped behind the wheel of a big rig and embarked on a journey that would change his life forever. Chicago Ray's journey to stardom began when he started documenting his experiences on social media. With a smartphone in hand, he captured the highs and lows of life on the road, sharing them with the world. His captivating storytelling and unfiltered honesty resonated with viewers, drawing them into his world. Chicago Ray's videos showcase the realities of the trucking industry, shedding light on the challenges faced by truckers on a daily basis. From long hours behind the wheel to navigating treacherous road conditions, he didn't shy away from showing the grittier side of the job. But it wasn't just the hardships that he highlighted. Chicago Ray also celebrated the camaraderie and sense of freedom that comes with life on the road. Chicago Ray's authenticity and relatability struck a chord with viewers, and his following grew rapidly. Truckers from all over the country rallied behind him, finding solace in his words and drawing inspiration from his unwavering passion for the industry. As Chicago Ray's popularity soared, he caught the attention of major news outlets. Headlines hailed him as the voice of the trucking community, a modern-day hero fighting for the rights and recognition of hardworking truckers everywhere. Chicago Ray's media appearances further solidified his status as a prominent figure in the trucking community. He used these platforms to advocate for better working conditions, fair pay, and improved infrastructure. His impassioned speeches resonated with truckers and non-truckers alike, sparking important conversations about the vital role truckers play in our everyday lives. Chicago Ray has become a force to be reckoned with in the trucking industry. His ability to rally people together and shed light on important issues has made a significant impact. impact. He has brought much-needed attention to the challenges faced by truckers and has become a powerful advocate for change. Chicago Ray's rise to prominence has not been without its fair share of controversy. His outspoken nature and willingness to challenge the status quo have earned him both praise and criticism. But love him or hate him, there's no denying the impact he has had on the trucking community. And that brings us to the present day, where Chicago Ray finds himself at the center of yet another storm. His recent threat to boycott shipments to New York City in support for Donald Trump has sent shockwaves through the transportation industry. Ray took to social media to voice his unwavering support for Trump. In a passionate post, he declared, "I stand with Trump because Trump stands with me. Truckers for Trump ain't just a slogan, it's real." Chicago Ray's sentiment resonates with many others in the trucking community who feel a deep connection to Trump and his policies. Donald Trump, who has consistently maintained his innocence and vehemently denied any wrongdoing, has called the ruling a politically motivated attack, claiming that it is part of a larger conspiracy to undermine his legacy and tarnish his name. He has also vowed to fight the ruling in court, seeking to overturn the decision and clear his name. Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, has thrown his support behind the boycott. In a statement on his new social media platform, Truth Social, he expressed his gratitude for the great patriots standing on the side of freedom. Such an honor to have so many great patriots on the side of freedom. Joe Biden's unfair and dangerous weaponization of law enforcement is a serious threat to democracy. We must make America great again. In a similar manner, Elena Cardone, the wife of wealthy real estate investor Grant Cardone, has created a GoFundMe page called the Stanford Trump Fund. The goal? To raise funds to cover the unjust $355 million judgment against Trump. Astonishingly, as of this morning, the page has already raised over $390,000, showcasing the immense support for Trump and the belief that the fine is unjust. When Donald J. Trump announced his candidacy for the presidency of the United States in 2015, little did he know that his bold and unconventional campaign would resonate deeply with a group of people, including the truckers. It seems their story is one that has lasted with the test of time. As Trump's campaign gained momentum, truckers from all corners of the country began to take notice. They saw in him a leader who spoke their language, understood their struggles, and promised to prioritize their interests. The trucking industry, a vital backbone of the American economy, had long been burdened by excessive regulations and overlooked by politicians. But Trump's unapologetic style and promises of deregulation struck a chord with these hardworking men and women. He promised to get rid of ridiculous regulations that cripple truckers and unleash the power of the American trucking industry like never before. Trump's commitment to reducing regulations and cutting red tape resonated deeply with the trucking community. They saw him as a champion who would fight for their rights and create an environment where they could thrive. And so, the truckers rallied behind him, forming a powerful alliance that would shape the course of the 2016 presidential election. Truckers across the nation proudly displayed Truckers for Trump signs on their rigs, showcasing their unwavering support for the candidate who promised to put America first. They organized convoys, honking their horns and waving flags, creating a spectacle that caught the attention of the media and the public. They ensured they sent a clear message that they stood with Trump. The enthusiasm among truckers was infectious. Their passion for Trump's message spread like wildfire, igniting a movement within the trucking industry. Truck stops became hotbeds of political discussions, with drivers sharing stories of how Trump's policies resonated with their own experiences on the road. The truckers' support for Trump went beyond just campaign rhetoric. They actively engaged in grassroots efforts, volunteering their time and resources to help spread the word about their chosen candidate. They attended rallies, handed out flyers, and even used their trucks as mobile billboards, proudly displaying Trump's name and slogan. The truckers' dedication to Trump was unwavering, and their impact on the 2016 election was undeniable. Their sheer numbers and passionate support helped propel Trump to victory in key battleground states, securing his path to the White House. As President Trump settled into the Oval Office, his commitment to the trucking industry remained steadfast. He understood that a thriving trucking industry meant a thriving economy, and he wasted no time in implementing policies that would benefit both. He created an environment where truckers could succeed, where they could thrive, and where they could continue to be the backbone of America. One of the key areas where Trump made a significant impact was in the realm of regulations. He recognized that excessive regulations were stifling the growth of the trucking industry and burdening truckers with unnecessary red tape. Trump signed regulatory reform bills into law, aiming to cut through the bureaucratic hurdles that had long plagued the industry. These reforms streamlined the permitting process, reduced paperwork, and eliminated unnecessary regulations that hindered efficiency. The trucking industry welcomed these changes with open arms. Truckers saw a significant reduction in the time and resources required to navigate the regulatory landscape, allowing them to focus more on their core business operations. In addition to regulatory reforms, Trump's focus on infrastructure development also had a profound impact on the trucking industry. He recognized that a well-maintained and efficient transportation network was crucial for the smooth movement of goods across the country. Trump championed infrastructure projects, advocating for increased funding to repair and upgrade roads, bridges, and highways. These investments not only improved the overall infrastructure of the nation, but also directly benefited the trucking industry by providing safer and more efficient routes for truckers to navigate. The trucking community applauded these infrastructure initiatives as they directly translated into reduced travel times, lower maintenance costs, and increased productivity. Another area where Trump's policies had a direct impact on the trucking industry was trade. He recognized the importance of fair and balanced trade agreements that protected American interests and ensured a level playing field for American businesses. Trump renegotiated trade agreements such as NAFTA to better serve the interests of American truckers and businesses. These new agreements aim to reduce barriers to trade, promote fair competition, and protect American jobs. The trucking industry benefited from these trade reforms as they opened up new markets and expanded opportunities for American truckers to transport goods across borders. Beyond policy changes and political rhetoric, what truly solidified the alliance between truckers and Trump were the shared values that resonated deeply with both parties. Truckers saw in Trump a leader who embodied the same principles they held dear: hard work, resilience, and a commitment to the American dream. Trump's own background as a businessman and his relentless work ethic struck a chord with truckers who understood the challenges of long hours on the road and the determination required to succeed in their industry. Truckers admired Trump's unapologetic style and his willingness to speak his mind, even in the face of criticism. They saw in him a leader who was not afraid to challenge the status quo and fight for what he believed in. Trump's commitment to putting America first resonated deeply with truckers. They believed that he genuinely cared about the well-being of American workers and was dedicated to creating an environment where they could thrive. Truckers also appreciated Trump's strong stance on immigration and border security. They saw in his policies a commitment to protecting American jobs and ensuring the safety and integrity of the nation. These shared values created a deep sense of camaraderie between truckers and Trump. They saw themselves as part of a larger movement, fighting for the same ideals and working towards a common goal: to make America great again. Truckers proudly wore "Make America Great Again" hats, displaying their unwavering support for Trump's vision of a prosperous and strong America. They saw themselves as patriots, playing a vital role in the nation's economy and working towards a brighter future for themselves and their families. The bond between truckers and Trump went beyond politics. It was a shared understanding of the challenges they faced, the values they held dear, and the belief in the potential of the American dream. Throughout his presidency, Trump made it a point to connect with truckers, listening to their concerns and seeking their input. He recognized their importance to the American economy and valued their contributions. The alliance between truckers and Trump remained unbreakable, even in the face of challenges and controversies. They believed in his leadership, his commitment to their industry, and his unwavering support for the values they held dear. In a shocking twist, Chicago Ray has made a sudden U-turn. In a new video, he addressed his followers with a surprising message of reconciliation and a change in his stance. Chicago Ray began the video by expressing his gratitude for the support he had received since his initial call for a boycott. He acknowledged the attention his video had garnered and the conversations it had sparked. However, he then revealed that he had taken some time to reflect on his previous statements and had come to a different conclusion. In a heartfelt and introspective tone, Chicago Ray explained that while he still had concerns about certain policies in New York City, he realized that a complete boycott was not the solution. He emphasized the importance of dialogue and finding common ground instead of resorting to extreme measures. He admitted that his initial call for a boycott may have been fueled by frustration and anger, but he now believed that it was time to move forward in a more constructive manner. The impact of Chicago Ray's U-turn was felt deeply within his followers and the wider trucking community. Many of his supporters were taken aback by his change of heart, with some praising his willingness to reassess his position and seek a more productive path. They saw his decision as a sign of growth and maturity, applauding his commitment to finding solutions through dialogue rather than confrontation. nation. However, not everyone was pleased with Chicago Ray's reversal. Some of his followers felt betrayed and disappointed, viewing his U-turn as a betrayal of their cause. They believed that a boycott was necessary to bring attention to the issues they faced as truckers, and saw his retraction as a setback in their fight for change. The trucking community at large was also divided in its response to Chicago Ray's change of heart. Debates and discussions erupted on social media and within industry circles, with people expressing a range of opinions and emotions. Some questioned the sincerity of his new message, while others commended his willingness to reconsider his stance and seek a more productive path forward. Chicago Ray's unexpected reversal sparked a broader conversation about the power of individual voices and the potential for change. It served as a reminder that growth and evolution are possible, even in the midst of heated debates. The impact of his U-turn continues to reverberate within the trucking community, leaving many wondering what the future holds for Chicago Ray, his followers, and Donald Trump. Trump's financial downfall. Moving away from the boycott, Donald Trump is still in a hot mess. It all began when New York Attorney General Letitia James launched an investigation into Trump's business practices. Her team meticulously combed through financial records, seeking evidence of any wrongdoing, and what they uncovered was nothing short of astonishing. The case centers around allegations that Trump and the Trump Organization engaged in civil fraud by falsifying business records and issuing false financial statements. The motive? To inflate Trump's net worth and secure more favorable loan terms. This audacious scheme allowed Trump to amass wealth and power, but it came at a steep price. In the summer of 2020, the case gained momentum as James filed a lawsuit against Trump and his organization. The legal battle that ensued would captivate the nation and expose the dark underbelly of Trump's empire. As the trial unfolded, shocking revelations emerged. The prosecution presented a mountain of evidence, meticulously documenting instances where Trump and his associates manipulated financial records to deceive lenders and investors. The sheer audacity of their actions left the courtroom in disbelief. The timeline of events is crucial to understanding the magnitude of this case. In the early 2000s, Trump's business ventures faced financial challenges, with several high-profile bankruptcies tarnishing his reputation. Desperate to regain his status as a successful businessman, Trump resorted to fraudulent practices to artificially inflate his net worth. In 2005, Trump made a bold move by launching his reality TV show, The Apprentice. The show catapulted him back into the public eye, portraying him as a savvy and successful entrepreneur. This newfound fame allowed Trump to attract investors and secure lucrative deals, further bolstering his image. But behind the scenes, the truth was far from glamorous. The prosecution presented evidence that Trump and his associates engaged in a systematic pattern of deception. They manipulated financial statements, overstating the value of properties and assets, and understating liabilities. This allowed Trump to secure loans and favorable business deals that he would not have otherwise been eligible for. The consequences of these fraudulent practices were far-reaching. Lenders and investors were duped into believing that Trump's empire was more robust and profitable than it actually was. The financial implications were staggering, with millions of dollars at stake. As the trial progressed, tensions between Trump and the judge reached a boiling point. Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, publicly criticized the judge and the case itself. He portrayed himself as a victim of a biased justice system, rallying his supporters to his cause. The judge remained steadfast, determined to uncover the truth and hold Trump accountable for his actions. In a landmark ruling, the judge found Trump and the Trump Organization liable for civil fraud, ordering them to repay over $354 million. But the story doesn't end here. Trump is expected to appeal the ruling, prolonging the legal battle and keeping the nation on the edge of their seats. The financial and reputational impact on Trump's campaign and business dealings is substantial, and the outcome of this case could shape his personal and political future. The financial impact of the ruling cannot be overstated. With a staggering penalty of over $354 million, Trump now faces a monumental task of repaying the state of New York. This significant financial burden adds to his existing legal challenges, including a civil penalty of over $80 million and a criminal trial for rape allegations. The strain on Trump's finances is undeniable, and it raises questions about his ability to meet these obligations. Furthermore, the ruling may hinder Trump's ability to appeal. Typically, when appealing a ruling, a substantial amount of money must be posted as a bond. This requirement could pose a significant obstacle for Trump, as he would need to secure a large sum of cash to proceed with the appeal. The financial strain and legal hurdles could impact his ability to campaign effectively and maintain his business empire. The implications of the ruling extend beyond just financial consequences. Trump's brand and reputation have taken a significant hit. The judge's ruling exposed fraudulent business practices and called into question the credibility of Trump's financial statements. This revelation tarnishes the image Trump has carefully cultivated over the years, portraying himself as a successful and savvy businessman. The ruling also raises concerns about the potential reputational damage to Trump's business empire. The exposure of fraudulent practices within the Trump organization could lead to a loss of trust from lenders, investors, and business partners. This loss of credibility may have long-lasting effects on Trump's ability to secure future deals and investments, but the impact of the ruling goes beyond just financial and reputational consequences. It also has the potential to shape Trump's political future. As he considers a potential run for the presidency in the future, the ruling serves as a significant blow to his aspirations. The public scrutiny surrounding the civil fraud case and the subsequent ruling may erode the trust and support of his base. Moreover, the ban on holding leadership positions in New York corporations for several years, not only for Trump, but also for his children, Donald Jr. and Eric, further complicates their involvement in Trump's political endeavors. The ruling restricts their ability to run a corporation in New York, limiting their influence and potential roles in any future campaigns. The ruling sets a precedent for other civil cases against Trump, including defamation lawsuits and election-related lawsuits. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications for his legal troubles and the public perception of his character and integrity. As Trump and his legal team prepare to appeal the ruling, the nation watches with bated breath. The financial and reputational consequences of this case are substantial, and the outcome will undoubtedly shape Trump's personal and political trajectory. The ruling against Trump for civil fraud comes at a critical time, as political campaigns are already underway for the next presidential election. The implications of this ruling on Trump's standing in the race cannot be ignored. The exposure of fraudulent business practices and the questions raised about the credibility of his financial statements may erode public trust and support. This ruling serves as a significant blow to Trump's potential political aspirations. Furthermore, the ruling has sparked concerns among the business community, particularly in the real estate industry in New York. Some fear that if it can happen to Trump, it could happen to anyone. The case has raised doubts about the integrity of business practices and the credibility of financial statements within the industry. This uncertainty could potentially lead to a decline in investments and a slowdown in the real estate market. The real estate industry in New York, which has long been intertwined with Trump's business empire, now faces a period of uncertainty. The exposure of fraudulent practices within the Trump organization raises questions about the valuation of properties and the accuracy of financial statements. This could have a ripple effect on property values and the overall stability of the market. The ruling also sheds light on Trump's valuation of his properties, including his prized possession, Mar-a-Lago. Despite restrictions on valuing it as a private residence, Trump claimed it was worth between $1 billion and $1.5 billion. This raises questions about the credibility of Trump's word and his ability to influence valuations. The ruling challenges the validity of his claims and exposes potential discrepancies in his financial assessments. The political and legal implications of this ruling are intertwined. The outcome of this case could impact Trump's standing in the upcoming presidential campaign, as well as his ability to navigate the real estate industry in New York. The ruling sets a precedent for other civil cases against Trump, including defamation lawsuits and election-related lawsuits. The public perception of his character and integrity may be significantly influenced by the outcome of these legal battles. The ruling has sparked a broader conversation about the state of the justice system and its ability to hold powerful individuals accountable. Some argue that the ruling represents a triumph of justice, while others view it as a politically motivated attack on Trump. The polarization surrounding this case highlights the deep divisions within the nation and the ongoing battle for truth and transparency. Trump's long history of breaking ethical and legal rules has led to a cascade of civil and criminal cases that are piling up, further adding to his financial woes. His losses keep getting higher, and the consequences are becoming more staggering by the day. The baseline number of $300 million is already mind-boggling, but when you factor in the interest, the total amount exceeds $450 million. These fraud fines are a costly penalty for Trump, and the consequences are entirely foreseeable. Trump's long history of pushing ethical and legal boundaries has finally caught up with him. To put things into perspective, let me break down the various losses and costs that are piling up for Trump. First, there's the defamation suit brought by Carroll, which cost him a staggering $5 million. He has already been forced to set aside that money, but that's not all. Another defamation case against him resulted in a whopping $83 million penalty. These civil and criminal cases are proving to be extremely costly for Trump. Trump's legal fees alone are enough to make your head spin. Last year, he spent a staggering $50 million on legal expenses. Some of these fees were passed off to his super PAC, but the burden remains significant. Trump's strategy of stiffing lawyers is no longer working, as many now require upfront payment before taking on his cases. Let's not forget the additional legal losses that have added to Trump's financial woes. He was ordered to pay just under $500,000 to the New York Times for a losing effort to sue them. Another $1 million was lost in a suit against Clinton, which was deemed legally frivolous. And on top of that, he was fined $100,000 for refusing to comply with a subpoena. When you add up all these losses, it becomes clear that Trump's financial situation is dire. The recent fraud penalty of $355 million, coupled with the interest that continues to accumulate, brings the total losses to a staggering $600 million. This is well over $500 million. The consequences are ominous, not just for Trump's business ventures, but also for his personal life and long-term financial future. Some may try to downplay the severity of these financial burdens, suggesting that Trump won't have to pay it all or that it's not a significant amount for him. However, the evidence tells a different story. Trump simply does not have enough cash on hand to cover this fine, let alone the other mounting costs. His recent financial statement reveals that he has under $300 million in cash, with a net worth of around $2 billion. According to New York prosecutors, this penalty and related costs are taking out roughly a quarter of his net worth, with a quarter of it being wiped out by these penalties. It's important to dispel the notion that Trump can simply brush off these financial obligations. Losing defendants who fail to pay can have their bank accounts frozen and their property seized. In fact, the money from the first defamation loss has already left Trump's accounts and is being held in a trust. This alone amounts to over $5 million. As if the civil cases weren't enough, Trump is also facing a series of criminal trials, making him the first former U.S. president to undergo such legal scrutiny. The New York hush money case is set to begin next month on March 25th, marking the first confirmed criminal trial before the election. The Georgia RICO case, which had a proposed August trial date, is facing complications due to allegations of misconduct by DA Fani Willis. It's obvious that Trump's legal battles are far from over. Will the Truckers for Trump boycott help him in any way? I'd like to think no. Click on the videos on your screen to enjoy similar content.